Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I am Mrs. Cassandra Mendoza, proud principal of J.W. Nixon High School. And we want to welcome you to today's dedication of the Johnny Myers Agriculture Building here at Nixon High School. It's my pleasure to welcome all of you. With the full support of our school community, the LISD Board of Trustees approved an investment of $8.2 million for this state-of-the-art facility that houses our agriculture, animal science, welding, and food processing classes. It's here where students are able to acquire technical skills and garner industry-based certifications through hands-on learning. The passion for working with animals, creating projects using metal, and learning to cultivate the land is very much alive in this building as it was in 1964 when Mr. Myers opened the doors to the original Nixon High School Agriculture Building. In 1964, Mr. Myers established the first Nixon High School FFA chapter. And I have this to prove it. Wow. Isn't it amazing? It's amazing. And intact also. In a shop, I'm amazed, Mr. Garza. 58 years later, his legacy continues as the same Nixon FFA chapter continues to receive numerous awards and accolades that I'm sure he would be proud of. So proud that he blessed us with this beautiful rancher's weather today. I'm sure he's smiling down on us and probably even chuckling, as I've been told that he had a unique laugh that brought smiles to many. We are honored to be naming this incredible building after Mr. Johnny Myers, a gentleman who was highly respected, highly esteemed, and a dedicated educator to the students of Nixon High School. And now, I would like to introduce LISD's Executive Director of Communications, Ms. Veronica Castillon, who will continue with our ceremony.
Good morning, everybody. It's so good to see you all here. What a beautiful South Texas morning we have. It's perfect for a ceremony officially naming this learning facility for a gentleman who had a lifelong love of learning, teaching, ranching, land conservation, and horses, especially Mustangs. And he passed on this love to the students in his classrooms. So that's what we're celebrating today. At this time, I ask that you please rise for the presentation of colors by the Nixon High School Junior ROTC Color Guard under the direction of Lieutenant Colonel Benny Fagan.
Forward, march, left, left, right. Color guard, hold, left, face, present, arm.
I'd like to thank the J.W. Nixon High School Honors Trumpets under the direction of Mr. Juan Gerardo Sosa for that beautiful national anthem. And now the Pledge of Allegiance will be led by Ms. Abdiana Marines, President of the Nixon High School chapter of the Future Farmers of America, along with nieces of the late Johnny Myers, Ms. Andrea Garcia and Ashley Garcia, who are also nieces of Mr. Myers and members of the FFA. Ashley and Andrea. Here they come. Okay, that's it.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Order. Arms. Right. Place. Forward. March. Left. Left.
Thank you, and please be seated. It's my pleasure to introduce our guests, beginning with the LISD Board of Trustees, the President of the LISD Board, the Honorable Hector Tito Garcia. Board member representing Nixon High School, the Honorable Ricardo Garza. The Superintendent of Schools for LISD, Dr. Silvia Guerra Rios. Representing the City of Laredo, the Honorable Alberto Torres Jr., City Council member. Representing the Webb County Commissioners Court, the Honorable Cindy Liendo. The architect for this fine building, Mr. Memo Cavazos. I believe he's also accompanied by Mr. Sergio Vela, but he might be over there on that construction site. Oh, no, there he is. Representing Line Decker Construction, we have Mr. Rene Cortez. We have the members of the Board of Directors for the Laredo International Fair and Exposition, led by Mr. Fernando Ortega. Please rise. We have a former principal of Nixon High School, Mr. Romeo Rodriguez. Thank you for returning back. And also joining us up front are members of the Superintendent's Cabinet. I believe we also have here teachers who are members of the faculty of the Vocational and Technical and Agricultural Department, so please wave. Thank you for joining us today. And of course, our ag students who are easy to spot. Wave, kids. Thanks to all of you for joining us this morning. Our first speaker is an exceptional community leader who has given freely of his time and talents as a member of the LISD Board of Trustees and as president of the board for 12 years. Please help me welcome the president of the LISD Board, the Honorable Tito Garcia.
Good morning. It's unbelievable to be here again. We've opened this building at the very beginning of school because school was starting and we needed to open it up and wanted to do it the right way. But today is a really special day and a lot of things to do with that. Mr. Myers was a real good friend of my father's. They both served as Ranchers of the Year for Lifetowns. And I remember growing up, we spent Saturdays and Sundays at Lifetown planting trees, building warehousing out there. We used to do a lot of stuff because they were so involved in Lifetowns. Mr. Meyer was an unbelievable employee of LISD, served 32 years. He started at Lamar, and from Lamar worked at Nixon and at Martin. He also was the first vocational director for LISD under Mr. Vidal Trevino. He served there 18 years and was excellent, excellent, excellent. But we know his love was the ranching industry, where he went and he did an outstanding job on what he loved and wanted to do. The family, I've known very well. I respect them. I thank them for giving us the opportunity to name this building after your father. And I look forward for you all to take a walk through this building. It's something that's unbelievable. If you have a chance, walk at the building next door too. That's a beautiful building. The taxpayers and the principal and the superintendent, when we built this building, we went back to the school and asked them, what do you all want to build? We're going out to the taxpayers, we're going to ask them for money. And I think we spent a little over $600 million in the last 12 years to bring a facelift to LISD, because our kids deserve it. We need to put them in a place where they're proud of their schools. They're proud to go to school. The environment around them is the environment they need to be to excel. And we've done that. I believe the ROTC building that's right next door is the last building that we're building at Nixon High School. We're still working on a building in Martin, and we're redesigned all of Cigarroa. It's a brand new school with a brand new middle school. That's what LISD is doing for our community. But Mr. Myers was part of all of this because FFA here, Martin, and at Cigarroa are strong, and it's strong because of him. Thank you again for sharing your father. Thank you again for being here with us, and I hope you enjoy the building. Thank you very much. At this time, I'm going to call up my good friend, graduating together, Mr. Ricky Garza, who represents Nixon High School.
Good morning. Thank you for allowing me to be here and speak a little bit about Mr. Myers. I didn't have too much of a relationship while he was at Martin with him, but I did have the best relationship with him at Chalou Burger about 2 or 3 times a week, having incredible conversations with that man. He taught me a lot just by sitting there and listening to him, and it's no wonder that a building has to be named after him. And the reason we do this, you have to think about history and why we do these things. They have people, all these kids right here have to remember, when you see a building named after somebody, who is that person? What did they contribute to society? Especially what did they contribute to LISD? And when they ask that question, it's up to the adults to tell them and guide them through this. This buildings that are here now inspired me to move forward and push so that we can have this for the kids back in 1988, 89, because I started noticing even back then that a lot of the kids that were coming out of high school did not have the career opportunities that were supposed to be there for them. It was dwindling down. Guys like me that graduated in 81, we had jobs freshman year, and they were available all over the place. And now people in society say, well, these kids don't work anymore. Well, there's a lot of opportunities not there for them, and they're under a lot of stress to get things done. So having these type of buildings here and this instruction here allows them to have an upper hand getting out of here with certifications in welding and automotive and everything that we offer in these 2 buildings. So it's not only this, we have the business magnet school or the early college next door. So that these kids, by the time they get out of here, they're going to say LI's kids are prepared to go out in the workforce immediately. And so I'm very happy to be here to at least let you a little bit know what's going on here at Nixon High School. But more importantly, I'm very honored to be part of this celebration because Mr. Myers did mean a lot to me during those moments. And I congratulate the family and thank the family for allowing us to be with us today. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Garcia and Mr. Garza. And now it is an honor for me to introduce our next speaker who has led our district to an exemplary rating, 2 A's, and 95 distinctions from the Texas Education Agency. Please help me welcome our superintendent, Dr. Silvia Guerra Rios.
So good morning, everyone. Well, first of all, a very, very big thank you, as well as a congratulations to the Myers family. But here's the important thing about this congratulations and thank you. It is something that we all share. I come from Hebronville, and Hebronville is a ranching community for the most part. And so we're very familiar with the white shirts and the hats and all this stuff. But here's the most important part. It's those kids, the future farmers of America. And even though that phrase might be, oh, well, that's something that's a long, long time ago. Look at our society, look at our culture now. When we talk about those kinds of organizations and the organization that we have here, it's really about a family. And it's a family that endures. It's a family that looks at the values and the character. Whenever I think of students who participate in our agricultural programs, I think about the values that they embody every day, the values that they carry with them even after they graduate. It's not just something that happens here at this school or at Cigarroa High School or at Martin High School or at any school in our public education system. It's about the values that are created by people like Mr. Myers, by our current staff, by the families that support them, just by the very being that we're here today. We are embracing those values. And it's so wonderful to celebrate people who carry those values, not only in our schools, but out into our community. So today, when we talk about this building, we talk about the promise of tomorrow. Not only the promise of tomorrow, but the history that you guys are going to take with you, the opportunities that you are building. And I am proud of Laredo ISD, because when I got here back in 2001, I still remember that Nixon that many of you attended. The parking at Nixon at that time, the buildings, A building, C building, and I know that probably some of you have some very nice memories of those buildings. I have been so fortunate to be invited to come into this family. And when I look at Laredo ISD and particularly Nixon, get this, I'm still wearing green and gold. And yes, I went to Martin and I said, hey, I love red. Yes, I do. I have lots of red, lots of green, and lots of blue. But I will tell you that I was fortunate to learn and now to live the legacy of Laredo ISD, but most particularly the traditions of our Mustangs. I can tell you that there's been so many celebrations here with our teachers, and those of you who are teachers and who are educators and you had some part of this legacy, thank you. Because you have created those opportunities and those memories. And Mr. Garcia is correct, and so is Mr. Garza. We can't let those memories die. We can't let those memories be forgotten. Maybe it's a new building. Maybe it's a new courtyard. Maybe that wall is not there anymore or in the same fashion, but I will tell you something that will never, never break. And that is that tradition of family, that tradition of Mustangs forever green and gold. That's what never dies. But it never dies because there's always a continuation of that spirit and love and opportunity. So for this Myers family, thank you so much for being part of that legacy, for creating those opportunities for our kids, and thank you for being here today. And once more, a big congratulations to all of you. And I'm going to tell you, you are going to be amazed when you walk through these buildings and when you see everything that's going on here and what our Board of Trustees have envisioned and what you as a community have supported. Thank you so, so much.
And I also forgot to say that Dr. Rios used to be principal here at Nixon High School, so she's very familiar with the traditions and culture of Mustang Land. We're so happy to have the Myers family here with us this morning. And so here to offer a response on behalf of his family is the son of Mr. Johnny Myers, Mr. Joseph Myers.
Everything I was going to say already been said. But right off the bat, this is Johnny Myers for his building, so think of him as his building. But before I even go there, I want to start recognizing his family, and first would be his brothers and sisters, and my tia Patty, who's here representing her husband, who may rest in peace with my dad. So, siblings, you too, tia Patty, tia Virgie, tia Patsy. Next would be my personal family. It would be my sister Roberta and my brother Eddie. And with me, what has been a foundation, what has made me change directions, become a better person, be my wife Etna, my daughters, and my son-in-law. As I'm saying that this building, what does it represent? We just saw the ROTC walk through here, right? When my dad was pro-military, served in the military, he was an instructor at West Point, and I think that was one of the highlights of his life. He really appreciated it. And he always talked about, if you're not gonna have education, you're not gonna get a vocation, you're going to the military. I grew up with those three things, okay? Next would be, give me a second, I'm getting emotional about his favorite thing was jumping off airplanes. He loved that. Going back to education, how many of y'all worked for him? Stand up, please. He was an instructor here. He opened up this school. I think there's a member. Is Billy Coble here somewhere? Billy Coble, I think you're one of the first. You want to know how this school was? So ask him how it was. So my father was here at Nixon. My uncle was under him. I would come here. They moved me around. Then he went to Martin. Javi had him. He made a political move that he had to. He was told, if you want to go forward to your continuing helping people, you needed to go Martin. He went to Nixon. Then he became head vocational director. One of the most important things that he did, along with Mr. Garcia's father, is that at one time they were trying to remove vocational programs from the schools in Texas. It was a complete push. My father, along with Mr. Garcia's dad, went and they fought this. It wasn't something small, it was a major battle that they fought. Back then, I think we had the first Republican governor, Bill Clements, and he said this, and you brought up FFA. He said, FFA is the backbone of America. He goes, as long as I'm governor, there will always be FFA in the schools. Because what did I learn from FFA? Welding, fixed some parts, tractors, maintenance, whatever. And I never knew what farming was until I went to your ranch in Carrizo, or Crystal City, right? We learned farming. It's not easy. So I just wanted to say thank you all for being here. It's an honor to have this building. And why do I say my dad? Because you students that are here, I want to give you something about your instructor you have back there, Mr. Garza. When I was in FFA, that man was vice president. He knew parliamentary procedure better than any person that I know to this day. So me being a student, I said, I want to be like him. I became vice president, and I learned my parliamentary procedure for a reason, to make sure, for a fact, that I could do what that man did. I didn't get there completely, but we got there. So I appreciate it. Also, what did that inspire? He's been here for 40 years as an instructor. That should say a lot. So you students, and you leaders of the FFA, when you don't think people are watching, they are watching you. They're looking. Now I'm calling out to all the people who still teach and are instructors. It is very important that no matter how hard it is to teach in the schools these days with all the testing and everything, please give your students that passion, because they need an education and they need a career. Now you say, oh, vocation. Believe me, you're going to do a lot of studying, reading, writing. It all comes together. Now to you all up here, I met the superintendent. My father had a man that he loved. His name was Charlie Edwards. We just found out that Mr. Charlie Edwards related to your husband somehow? To her husband. So what does ranching do? Which my father greatly loved. At one time he ran 800 mama cows. Then we got into horses, which was another blessing, but I love you. I'll be with you right now, okay? Say hi. My granddaughter. She's demanding I go sit down. She's saying, you're talking too much. Now, the ones who knew my dad, you see me this size, okay? And you see my dad was very small. You see my dad was very small. My dad was before his times. He had that surgery, that thing, but he had it because of an ulcer. So don't say gordo. He runs in the family, but he was before his times. 3 things made my father, like I said, very happy. Being a paratrooper, being an educator, being an educator, And also the fact that Rancher of the Year. Thank you to the people from Lifetimes. When he got Rancher of the Year, he had a smile from ear to ear. It wasn't funny. Problem was, we had 2 horses running in the Longhorn Futurity and the Longhorn Futurity Juvenile. He said, you go to Maynard Downs, you run the horses, and I will take care of this. That's the way it was. Didn't demand me to be there. He said, we need to take care of business. Went and ran the horses. One of the horses gave him a TQHA Horse of the Year. So he was very happy and very proud, and he loved his animals. I will not take your time anymore. I have to thank everybody up here on this stage for voting for my father for being there, the family, her for putting up with me. This has been going on for a time, so we appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Joe. Well, we have all come to the moment we've been waiting for. We are going to be unveiling the portrait and engraved plaque, which will hang here for all perpetuity in this newly constructed agriculture building named for Mr. Johnny Myers. Therefore, I would like for our board members, Dr. Rios, our principal, Ms. Mendoza, and Joe Meyer to join us up front for the ceremony as we unveil. 3, 2, 1.